So the heat treat process did not go well with this part. There's cracks in it. It didn't quite come up to hardness. I didn't show any of the rough grinding, but what we're going to be talking about on this part of this is the setup for the finish grind. I have been using tape to drive the part as I was grinding it. We're going to make a quick way to clamp onto the indexer to connect to the drive dog out of this piece of aluminum, I guess, pipe. It's just a piece of aluminum pipe. We're going to cut a section out of it, heat it up, forge it down, weld it together, possibly bore it to fit, and then weld on a drive or weld on a bracket for bolts to use as drive bolts for driving parts on the tool and cutter grinder. So I have cut the piece out off of that cylinder shaft. So I've cut that arc segment out of the loop, and if I roll it around, it's a little bit short, but that's what I wanted to get. All right, it's been about, I don't know, 10 minutes at 1,000 degrees for that piece of aluminum. I'm going to take the small one out first and go ahead and form it into a flat. A nice almost bar of aluminum now. Looks like it needs to soak. Based on how that felt, I probably need to let the other piece soak just a little bit longer. I ended up cutting too much away with the saw. Squeeze it down just a little bit more. There we have it. Okay, so the first one that I made, I really botched up the welding on. I'm learning, right? So I was trying some stuff, and I got the second one ready to go, but I'm learning what it takes to weld aluminum. And okay, that's what that weld looks like on the one side. I've got to come back and do the other side, but I like that. I have lots of learning left to do, but I did not destroy the part this time. I'm going to get on the lathe and start turning it to where it needs to be. This is how I had the part chucked up in the lathe. The drive piece resting up inside of that jaw right there, and then the other jaw is closed around it. And I had to manually deburr most of this part just because of the nature of it, but I think this is going to work out really well. Let's put it over here on the machine. It was a little bit tight in some areas, so what I did was I just and that's because whoever had it before really drove up some material on this. So we take the part, push it all the way against there. It's going to work excellently, I think. I'm going to go ahead and drill and tap a hole on this side to run a pin all the way down into the piece. So here's a bit more stable look at the part. It has the drive dog. It's been welded in on both sides. And then the bore. And I counterbored the remainder of the piece out so that it sticks down a little bit further. All right, so we've got the part set back up in the KO Lee. We've done quite a bit of rough and semi-finished grinding. We're about to move the table just a little bit more in. On this side, it's a little bit larger right here. I've got an indicator set up. I've gotten 3/1000ths. Let's get this guy running. Coming in. Nice. The cut should get lighter as we get towards the end. What I'm doing is I'm just going to let it spark out, do a really nice soft grind. I'm going to move the part. We're getting close now. As you can see, I've got contact here, up to there, and then scatter contact inside. I need to come in, I think on my dial over here, 1 thousandth. And that should be enough. It's really close. We should touch. A little bit more than what I wanted to. We'll be okay. Finish feels really nice on this. I would like to see a nice even spark out. I have something that's off just a little. This is the balancing arbor that I've been working on. I'm really pleased with the way it turned out. Yes, it has cracks inside the internal structure of the material here. The grind turned out really, really nice. The finish has been exceptional. I was really impressed with the way that the grinder actually came together. See if I can rotate one of those cracks up. They're hard to see. They're minute. And it didn't reach the hardness. There's one right there. This has been fun. Let's put it to use, see if it works out. I have some parallel setup here on the surface plate. And the grinding wheel that I've been using on the surface grinder. Got a really good fit on the taper. This wheel turns out is surprisingly well balanced. At least I hope it is. I have to be careful. If I push it too hard, it'll fall off the edge. The surface plate is flat, but any slight bump I give it, there it goes. It's coming back a little bit. Let's give it another little spin. Maybe there's a small high spot on it, but essentially I'm going to learn how to balance wheels and see what conditions my wheels are in. There's a shaft one more time. Thank you. Please like and subscribe.